Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of European Battle Royale. Let's get right into it. Moldova will be invading south. So the country that's south of Moldova, as well as the country that's north and east of Moldova, is Ukraine, Belarus. And so Moldova will invade south into this part of Ukraine that has been pretty severely damaged by Turkey in a previous episode. And they're expecting for Russia to start invading Ukraine as soon as they do. And also Romania pretty quickly joins the war because them and Moldova are pretty tight. But they expect Russia to join the war pretty much immediately, and Russia doesn't, which is going to be pretty bad for them because Ukraine and Belarus combined are stronger than Moldova and Romania combined. And so Moldova and Romania are going to first be invaded from the north and then be pushed back from the south, and Moldova will be pretty quickly almost fully invaded by Ukrainian and Belarusian forces. And Romania is also being invaded at this point, and Romania will have to surrender to Ukraine, Belarus. So let's see what the peace treaty looks like. And this is a pretty simple one. Moldova is fully annexed by Ukraine, Belarus. Romania didn't get any additional punishment because losing their biggest ally slash puppet is basically the same thing as them losing territory. So Romania is not doing well so far. Romania will be invading west. So following their crippling defeat in the east, Romania sets their sights on the Orange Alliance, specifically Kosovo and Hungary. And what do they want out of this war? They want to get land, obviously. So Romania will move troops into Hungary. Unfortunately for Romania, Hungary and Kosovo combined are far stronger than Romania at this point. And so they will move troops into Romania. However, all is not lost for Romania, as the Green Alliance has been looking for an excuse to weaken Hungary, and so as Hungary is invading east into Romania, Slovenia starts invading east into Hungary. And Hungary had been defending their border, but not very well, and literally their entire front line that they had set up for this exact scenario just collapses. Slovenia's army is pretty strong compared to their size. So Slovenia is invading into Hungary. Like most of the important Hungarian lands that are actually Hungarian get taken pretty quickly, and Hungary wants to keep their mission going in Romania, but eventually they're forced to recall all of their troops, leaving Kosovo to do all the work in Romania. And Romania will kind of embarrassingly struggle against Kosovo, with Kosovo even taking some more territory from them. And Slovenia will basically get pushed all the way out of Hungary as popular uprisings basically destroy most of the front lines they created. But they keep a bit of land in Hungary, and they refuse to give it up. And so Hungary will sign a peace treaty with Slovenia, giving them a bit of land. And because that peace treaty's been signed, Hungary can now refocus themselves eastward. And before their troops even arrive in Romania, Romania has themselves surrendered to Kosovo so that they don't lose any more territory. So let's see what the peace treaty looks like. And this is what the new borders of the Balkan look like. Portugal will be making an alliance with Ukraine, Belarus. So this will be the Cyan Alliance, and the reasoning for this is different for each of the two countries involved. Ukraine, Belarus wants to start getting involved in Western European politics. They're pretty quickly becoming one of the stronger countries in Europe. However, right now, Poland, the Orange Alliance, and Romania are kind of blocking them from moving west, and they're kind of scared of Russia as well. So they're going to use alliances to try and have influence in the West. Portugal, meanwhile, is having extremely quickly diminishing relations with France, and they never had good relations with Spain, and so they want to have at least someone who's willing to back them in case of a war. The slight issue with that is that Turkey would need to let Ukrainian troops go through the Black Sea, and I'm not sure if that would happen. And Belarusian troops, obviously. Switzerland will be making an alliance with Kosovo. The ever-expanding Orange Alliance adds another member, this time because Switzerland is deathly afraid of Germany and also a bit of France. They don't really want to be invaded, and at least Germany, Italy borders a lot of Orange Alliance countries, so they're at least getting protection against Germany. So that's why they joined the Orange Alliance. The Netherlands is invading southeast. Well, I don't think it could be more clear. The Netherlands, and probably the Orange Alliance as a whole, is invading Germany, Italy. Germany, Italy is basically the only country that the entire Orange Alliance is, like, basically able to attack, besides Monaco, but they could also kind of attack them. However, per the wheel, this attack will be starting from the Netherlands, who moves troops across the border into the western parts of Germany, and they will actually get an unlikely ally, as pretty quickly after this, Belgium and Luxembourg also start moving their troops into Germany, Italy. They were not really coordinating, but Belgium, Luxembourg had already also been planning to do the same thing. So when the Netherlands did it, they were like, "Why don't we also do it?" Anyway, Germany, Italy had been preparing for a war with Poland, um, when this was happening, and they had moved a lot of their troops to the border with Poland. It's part of the reason the Netherlands invaded and why Switzerland is now trying to get their territory back and is pretty successful at it, as Liechtenstein, little baby Liechtenstein, joins the coalition and starts moving troops towards Switzerland. Obviously, they're doing it pretty slowly, and Germany occupies all of Liechtenstein, so now there's just a bunch of Liechtensteiner troops that are stuck here until Switzerland is able to move their own troops over here and give them a way out. And after this, Switzerland reoccupies / liberates Liechtenstein. Hungarian troops now quickly move into what used to be Austria and is now part of Germany, Italy. And Austria was not very well defended by Germany, Italy. However, Germany, Italy will have one ally in this war. That ally will be Montenegro. And this is going to be probably the biggest war yet. And so Montenegro will be pretty quickly invaded by the Orange Alliance as soon as they even try invading into Kosovo, right? So, like, the Orange Alliance basically diverts their attention for a few seconds, and within a few weeks, Montenegro is basically out of the war, with Slovenia coming in to mop up the rest of the country just to get a bit more land. And Slovenia going in and entering the war is enough excuse for Germany to actually move their troops into Poland, because they really still were planning to invade Poland. And so Germany moves their troops into Poland for the second time in history. And they move through Poland rapidly. And Poland, who thought they were pretty prepared for Germany and Italy moving their troops through them, was woefully underprepared, as they are very quickly getting just absolutely destroyed. And all of a sudden, Ukraine, Belarus starts moving their own troops into Poland. And they had not made an alliance with Germany. This isn't a repeat of World War II, but they figured they would capitalize on it. And eventually, Poland surrenders to both powers. And with this, Slovenia is kind of on their own, but they make the executive decision to invade into Italy. Specifically, they're not invading into the German or Austrian parts of whatever this country is called, Germany, Italy, because they want the Italians to basically try and break free from the Union. And they have a pretty strong navy, and because the German and Italian navy is basically all near Germany, defending Germany, because this is really a German-dominated union. And by the way, the Netherlands are, well, they're not doing very well. Iceland is helping them, but they can't help them enough to make this not happen. Meanwhile, Belgium and Luxembourg just quietly leave Germany. The Netherlands is still holding on a little bit, but not enough. However, in the south, it's a different story, as Slovenia captures large portions of the Italian coast, including all the land surrounding San Marino, which encourages San Marino to join the war, to help out Slovenia. Using occupied Montenegrin ports, Kosovo will send troops down to Montenegro's overseas territory here and start invading into the boot of Italy. And at this point, Italian people are kind of sick of the military, and the Italian military is sick of the military, and so they're not mutinying, they're not at that point yet, but they're kind of just, like, not really taking orders seriously. Also, I forgot these two islands are part of Italy. However, Sicily is no longer part of Italy. It is now part of the Orange Alliance because it has just been taken. Um, Germany has been doing a good job of pushing Hungary out of Austria, but not fully. And Liechtenstein and Switzerland are now um, about to be fully occupied. Switzerland still has a little bit of their country holding on. The Netherlands actually manages to take back Holland over here, and Polish forces, having surrendered to Ukraine, Belarus, are able to actually start pushing back German forces over here. And as soon as the occupying forces start getting resisted, Germany makes the decision to withdraw all occupying forces in Poland, leaving only military forces there, which are different, I think, which basically moves the front line all the way back to here, and Polish troops start moving the front line back even further. The Italian people are at this point completely just resisting their government, which also is the German government, and they want independence, and they are screaming for independence. And at this point, a new independence movement will spawn around Rome. The Vatican will also join this movement, and Italy is basically begging to be independent. Sardinia will fully fall to revolutionaries, and now Germany has to deal with their former Union member as well as the countries that are invading them. And so the first thing they do is they withdraw to a slightly more sensible front line with Poland around here. The second thing they do is they basically blitzkrieg Hungary into their own territory, and they actually respect Slovenia because they only invaded into Italy, even though they are allied with Poland. As Slovenia starts taking more of Italy, and there's basically a race between Slovenia and Italy to see who can take the most land, as the entirety of Italy basically declares independence. Switzerland is able to push back over here and start invading back eastward, and Liechtenstein rebels against its occupiers, and with no German occupying forces or military forces in the region, they managed to basically create a massive area around their actual country where there are just no German forces, and there are sometimes Liechtenstein forces, so Liechtenstein is kind of invaded into that territory. At this point, the Dutch, with the help of Icelandic troops, are just absolutely clobbering the Germans, and the Germans just move out of the Netherlands entirely as Belgium and Luxembourg relaunch their invasion into Germany. And at this point, Germany sees how things are going. They don't want to be fully destroyed by a war. They know Italy is going to end up being independent. They know, like, basically a bunch of stuff is about to happen that is bad for them. So they withdraw from Hungary, and they basically sit down at a peace treaty with all the other powers while they still have a shot at it, or while they still have a shot at staying somewhat together. So let's see what everything looks like. And this is what the new borders of Europe look like. Rome was given to the Vatican as a prerequisite for the Pope supporting the Italian Revolution, which is basically the reason Italy got independence, which they obviously did. Liechtenstein got a ridiculous amount of land because the Orange Alliance wanted them to serve as a buffer state between Germany and Italy. San Marino got a lot of land because Slovenia wanted Italy to lose as much land as possible, but they didn't want to take all of it. So yeah, this is the new peace treaty. Germany will be making an alliance with Denmark. Following their embarrassingly bad defeat against a bunch of countries, Germany wants to be more safe, and Denmark doesn't want Germany to invade them, so it's really a match made in, well, my mind. Bulgaria will make an alliance with Denmark. So Bulgaria will also be joining the Purple Alliance, and the reason Bulgaria joins the Purple Alliance is because they want protection, and Germany is a pretty strong country. Monaco will be facing a rebellion. It's kind of hard for them to face a rebellion that you can see, but basically Monaco has a bunch of people in it, and has been gaining a bunch of people who aren't part of the millionaire elite class, which is like 30% of the country, or now it's like 15% of the country, but in the modern day, in 2025, it's 30% are millionaires. And the government of Monaco continues to cater to the ultra wealthy, so France sponsors a rebellion, and basically the outcome of that is Monaco ends up being incorporated into France fully. Ireland will be making an alliance with the Vatican. So this yellow alliance will be made between the Vatican and Ireland. It makes sense because Ireland is a very devoutly Catholic nation. Now they're the pink alliance, but it's the same thing. I just wanted to make it not yellow. But they are two countries that are pretty devoutly Catholic. That's really the only reason they are merging into an alliance. Ukraine, Belarus will be uniting west. So there's a bunch of countries that are west of Ukraine, Belarus. I could choose technically Russia, Poland, Slovakia, maybe Hungary, and maybe Romania. I'm going to be choosing Slovakia. I don't think Poland and Belarus and Ukraine, Belarus would be having the best of relations right now because they just, took land. And also, I feel like Slovakia is more directly west. Like, west is the only thing I could have rolled where it would actually make sense for Slovakia to be the one chosen. So, also, I'm the ruler of the series. I get to choose what happens. So, it will be Slovakia that is joining the Ukrainian Belarusian Union. And now I'm going to change the name of this country because Ukraine, Belarus, Slovakia is not something I want to say. So this country is now going to be the Slavic Union. Hungary will invade northeast. The country northeast of Hungary is the Slavic Union. And so what happens here is that Hungary was planning to invade Slovakia. They were waiting for the right moment, and then Slovakia just joined the Union, not even because of Hungary, just because they wanted to. And Hungary is so upset by this, they just move their troops into Slovakia anyway. And obviously, the Slavic Union is going to take that as an act of war because it is one. And they will start invading into Hungary. And the Orange Alliance will be nowhere to be found. They basically are like, Hungary, you did this to yourself. As soon as Slovenia starts invading in, they realize they definitely are not going to do well. Even Germany starts invading in, even despite what just happened. They don't invade into Ukraine, Belarus, or the Slavic Union, though. So Hungary will pretty quickly surrender to all powers involved. Hungary is allowed to stay in the Orange Alliance, but only because I think they're the first country to lose all of their original land. They've just completely migrated into lands that they've conquered. So not only are they now a melting pot of a bunch of different former nations, none of them really like being under Hungarian control. But the Orange Alliance is going to make it so that they still are under Hungarian control. Romania will be invading south. So the country south of Romania is Bulgaria. And Romania wants to get rid of Bulgaria, even though Bulgaria just joined Germany's alliance. The thing is, Germany can't really help out, especially because Turkey doesn't like Germany at all and won't let Germany move troops through here. So there's really no way that the Purple Alliance can help Bulgaria out. So they're really on their own. And unfortunately for Bulgaria, Greece also hates them and also doesn't really like that there's Bulgarian nationalists in their country, so they'll join the war. And the Orange Alliance is out to get literally any lands they can at any time they can. So Kosovo will be out to get some land here as well. And basically, Bulgaria is no more. Last event of this episode, Estonia will invade southeast. And despite what you might think, this is not that unintelligent of a decision, as soon as they start invading into Russia, they get a coalition of other countries, namely Finland and Ukraine, Belarus, on board. Ukraine, Belarus moves troops into Kaliningrad, which Russia is no longer very heavily defending, for the simple reason that it's no longer an exclave, and quickly takes all of this land. Estonia moves across whatever the sea is called, and pretty quickly takes a bunch of land of their own. And Finland in the north moves quickly as possible to take the East Karelia Peninsula, blocking it off from the rest of the country, and then taking it. And Russia basically has to move all of their nukes off of this peninsula because that's where most of their nukes are. And in doing so, they basically lose control of their military for a few days, and things are not going well for Russia in this war. They are being embarrassed. First, they lost the war in Ukraine because that's how this scenario started, and now they're losing another war to Ukraine, Belarus, Slovakia, aka the Slavic Union. And so they were just going to not have a revolution, but basically almost, and they surrender. And they leave the war. They don't want this anymore. And these are what the new borders of the Slavic Union look like. And these are what the new northern borders of Russia look like. So, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to comment down below who you think is going to win. Like the video and subscribe so you don't miss it when the next one comes out. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.